rights, fed the hungry, educated the community, and stood as powerful symbols of resistance and resilience. Despite their incredible sacrifices, loving and serving the people did not come with retirement plans or financial security. So, now it's our time to honor their legacy and ensure that they are cared for with the dignity they deserve. You can help by attending and supporting A Night with the Panthers, Saturday, February 22nd, 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Project 43 Team Post Center, 6841 Crenshaw Boulevard, Los Angeles. For more information, contact Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. That's Black Panther Party Breakfast at gmail.com or call 707-554-2784. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Her pistol go. Her pistol go. I said her pistol go. Cause she a fashion killer and I'm a trendy figure. I said her pistol go. Her pistol go. I said her pistol go. Cause she a fashion killer and I'm a jiggy figure. I said rockin', rollin', swaggin' to the max, fashion killer. She be busy poppin' tags. She got a lot of Prada, that Dolce & Gabbana. I can't forget Escada and that Balenciaga.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome in to KBLA Talk 1580. You are locked in with Jill Munroe, here to bring you the latest in entertainment, culture, and all of the trending topics and headlines of the day. You know, Andy is always on theme, but this is an emergency situation. Well, it's a special announcement. We won't say it's an emergency. A$AP Rocky has been cleared of all charges in his assault trial. When he received the verdict, he immediately jumped over the wall to hug his boo Rihanna, as he should if the rumors are true that she was cool. No, I'm just kidding. I love their family dynamic. They seem really, really happy, as we talked about the other day. And I did not monitor this trial closely. I saw pieces, but we know that he was offered a plea deal that would have had him on probation for a significant number of time, limited jail time, and probably would have hindered some performance, situations outside of the country, as well as some endorsement deals. So he wisely did not take it, and now he's free and clear to do his thing. Nick, you look like you want to add something. I don't know. You're sitting over there. Nick Hamilton with NiteCast Media is here with us. It's Tuesday. He was looking at me like, I want to get in on this.
All I can say is snitches never peril.
Oh, my goodness.
Snitches never prevail.
We cannot get into the snitch culture. If something happened to you, right, you have the right to report it.
But his ex-homie is a snitch. And the thing about it is, first of all, congratulations to A$AP Rocky. For all those who thought A$AP Rocky was stupid for not taking that plea, how do you like him now? That man was facing 24 years. He was willing to take that to trial. And this is what happens when you got money and good lawyers. You ain't taking no plea. We going to trial.
Listen, that...
My man did a Lambo leap in that courtroom, by the way.
He really did. He really did. He was like, my boo.
I ain't mad at him.
I'm not mad at him either, as he should.
Because he was about to miss out on Rihanna for about 24 years.
And his children.
And his kids. And his family, too.
Yeah, all of that.
I'd have did that Lambo leap a couple times. I'd have been like, the hell with the judge. I'm going to do it again one more time for good measure.
That's what you...
Congratulations to him and his defense team, though. Hey, that dude's lawyer belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Or something. Well, listen, in addition to that, tonight we are getting into Tyla. There has been a lot of controversy following her about her colored response when she was asked about her race. She is South African. They have different racial categories, and her answer, and then furthermore non-response, angered some people. So she has responded to that. So we'll get into that. Also, comedian Godfrey released a kind of bombshell, something that has been floating around the ethos for quite some time. But I want to know, is it okay? Like, we all share stories of our favorite people, sometimes after they pass, but where's the line? We talk about a lot of things. So we'll get into the details of what Godfrey said and whether or not it's appropriate. We seem to be having this conversation quite a bit as of lately. And, we might have some details about Tyrese and child support. We might have a Wendy Williams update for you and a couple more things. Really quickly, though, let me let you know this. Michael Jackson's estate is really upset. They are not here for someone trying to auction off his unreleased music. There's a site called Gotta Have Rock and Roll, and it is selling cassette tapes with 12 never before heard MJ songs from the late 80s, early 90s. The starting bid, $85,000. They expect it to go for as much as $200,000, but MJ's estate is calling the auction a scam, saying these are just copies of the original masters, which means whoever buys them won't own the rights to play or release the music. So, you might think you're getting something valuable. You are getting something exclusive for MJ, but $2,000 just to hear it? 200,000, just to hear it? I don't know. When we come forward, we're going to get into Tyla, Godfrey, and all those trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you need up to $3,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com is the name you can trust. It's free to use, available 24/7, and you are never required to accept any loan offer. Some lenders offer same-day funding. If you need up to $3,000, type WeFixMoney.com directly into your browser. WeFixMoney.com has been helping customers for 15 years and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. So, if you need cash for credit card bills, car repairs, child care, or anything else, go to WeFixMoney.com. Make sure you type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. Go to the company you trust, WeFixMoney.com. Just fill in the information and get an answer in minutes at WeFixMoney.com. For up to $3,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back into KBLA Talk 1580. So, I have to give you a couple more updates before we get into everything tonight because it's juicy. First up, as always, if you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. Of course, you can hit us up on all social media, KBLA 1580. Me personally, I'm at Stiletto Jill. The YouTube chat is always a fun place to visit. The comments are already bubbling under in there, and we'll get to those in a second. Something else I wanted to let you know. Shout out to model Winnie Harlow and Kyle Kuzma. They got engaged over the weekend in the Bahamas. Kyle flew out all of her family and surprised her when she walked in. He had proposed, I'm sorry, not the Bahamas, it was Turks and Caicos. And there was a custom written poem, an 8.5 carat oval diamond cut ring. And, he spent months planning it. They've been together for years. So, we love. Valentine's Day week proposal. And your girl Kim Kardashian just keeps the business deals moving. It was announced today that Kim and Nike have launched a collaboration. And in this latest Kardashian power move, she is partnering with Nike to create a performance wear line for Nike. It's the first time Nike has collaborated with a brand to do something like this. It's dropping in spring, and it's going to be available online and in select stores. And Skims is valued already at about $4 billion, but this could be a game changer for them and a boost to Nike. So a shout out to that.
Shout out to Kris Jenner.
Kris Jenner's one of the greats. All right, let's get into this Tyla story because, some people feel that it is unfair the way that she has been treated. Others feel that she is not being open or understanding about American racial issues, just as she's saying that Americans aren't being as open, right? So she's addressing the backlash she faced for calling herself colored, which is, I mentioned, a term that is something utilized in South Africa. But here, of course, we know colored was something from the Jim Crow era. We've been through colored, Negro, Black, African American, and now we're somewhere in between. But here in the States, we know it doesn't always play well. So in a new interview with British Vogue, she said, "I had no control. It just went so far that I didn't know what to do." She said she understands why some people found the term offensive, but she also said that she wished that people had taken the time to actually listen and learn from her before attacking her. So we know that the word has a deeply racist history here in America, and language doesn't always transcend, right, across cultures. But do we think that it is on the onus of someone coming into our market? Because a lot of people point to the infamous Breakfast Club interview where she was asked to explain, and in many people's expectation, educate. And from her position, she felt that she had already done that in numerous interviews, so it would be reductive to do it again in this one. What are your thoughts, Nick Hamilton, on this issue?
I think both things can be true. I think there's a level of education that she needs to have when it comes to American culture. But I also think there's a level of education that we need to have where she comes from in South Africa. I think South Africa, as you mentioned, is a different climate. And what I mean by climate, obviously we know about apartheid. We know how people went through the suffering of apartheid, which is, low key probably still being, some of those principles are still being upheld. It's just not as prevalent.
Hello, Elon Musk.
Hey. But no, I think both things can be true, and I think we need to give her a little bit of leeway because she's not from here. She wasn't born here, and her parents happen to be South African.
But let me ask you a question. Here. Do you agree with what she said, as in, I explained it once or several times, as she said? I won't say once.
Yeah, it gets redundant. I mean, I don't blame her because if she felt like she explained it, right, and like she said, it wasn't just once. According to her, it was several times, meaning 4 or more. right? So if you explain the same thing, asking the same questions, it's like, okay, what more do you want from me? Like,
Well,
either you're gonna accept it or you're not.
And I agree with that totally. But let me ask you this, because we both interview people all the time, right? We are at junkets where the artists have to repeat themselves over and over again. Tell me about your character. Tell me about the premise of the film, things of that nature, right? Because each outlet, each person that they're interviewing with has a different audience that may not be familiar with these aspects. So from that positioning, the Breakfast Club's audience, some may have heard those interviews, some may not. I think part of media training, how many times in theory, right? Think about this. You cover post-game, pre-game, all of that. How many times do some journalists ask redundant questions?
All the time.
And do the majority of the time, now we've seen outbursts, what happens? Much like with our junkets, they answer them, yeah? Or quick through them.
Yeah, but I also think it's up to us to be more creative and flexible with the type of ways that we ask the same types of questions. Because you can ask the same question, but if you ask it in a different way and it comes across not as the same 30 other times that they've heard it.
This is true.
You get different answers, and sometimes they'll open up more to you. We both experienced that.
Yeah.
Well, they'll open up more to you because you're asking, even though it may be a similar foundation, it's a different way that you approach it to where your audience can still get the meat and potatoes that you're trying to disseminate to them. And I think that is a thing that you can't ask the same types of questions 500 times. Like, that gets redundant. I get annoyed, and I'm not even being asked.
You're right, 100%. But how much backstory is the audience owed?
Well, I think this. Everybody reads everything for the most part, right? There's certain audiences that will, obviously have their own preferences, but everybody reads for the most part. We're all on social media. We're all on the World Wide Web. We're all on the internet. So you're going to pick up certain things, right? I like today, I spoke with Marlon Wayans. I could have easily asked him about Soulja Boy, right? But I didn't, because it's like, for what? Like, he's already talked about it. He put out a diss record. He's been all over. Him and Soulja have been back and forth on Twitter, which Soulja was utterly disrespectful to him and his family. And it's like, why am I going to ask the same stuff? Even if I ask it a different way, you got to have discretion. You got to have some type of decorum where okay, look, maybe I may skip this question, but let me ask something else that's still going to move the needle. If you're that good as you say you are, then you'll come up with a dynamic question that will move the needle and go viral.
100%. We have Fahima on the line from DC. Fahima, thanks for checking in with us. Let's hear your thoughts for the night.
Jill.
Yes.
So I sent you an article that dropped today in People magazine this afternoon, and I'm going to let you take a peek at that. But colored isn't even spelled the same way in South Africa as it is here in the U.S., and it has a completely different connotation. As you mentioned, it's part of the stratified race category. People really need to get over themselves because, for example, you have people who are Creole and Cajun in Louisiana, and they're specifically comprised of people who have African, indigenous, and some European blood. Are people going to tell them, you're not Cajun, you're not Creole?
Well, Fahima, but you do know those conversations happen. You do know that there are conversations that happen around Creoles, and they consider themselves outside of this, depending upon the Creole individual that you speak with. But I think that we do understand that. I think that there has to be a respect for what happens here is not necessarily what happens somewhere else. And I think sometimes the confusion comes is when we're like, we're all black, but what black means in America does not necessarily denote what happens in other African countries. And sometimes I think that there's confusion with that because mostly when you have thought about, for a great deal of people, black culture and the hallmarks of it, it comes from American black culture. And as we have become more worldly, it kind of gets mixed up. And so I think that when an artist is coming to America, a lot of people feel like the onus is on them to understand what happens here because they are courting our market. I'm not saying if that's the right approach, but that seems to be the thought process of a lot of people.
Well, I'll just say the article I sent you actually addresses that very same thing. And I'm going to let you take a look at that. Okay. I'm not even going to spoil it. But I will just say this. Trevor Noah, who isn't colored, he was a mixed race person, which was illegal. And you saw the bit where he talked about he couldn't wait to come to America where he would be black. He'd be considered black because he only wanted to be black. And he was on the airplane practicing being black. And when he got off the plane, a Latino brother walked up to him and said, "¿Qué pasa, papi? We made it." So that speaks volumes to how complex race is in America. Very and true. I will land there.
Thank you so much for your call, Fahim, as always, and thank you for sending the article. I'm going to get to a couple of these comments in the chat because they are plenty. DJ Black 909 is running it back to ASAP Rocky. He said, ASAP Rocky has children with Rihanna and beat that case. Happy Black History Month, brother. Salute. Lucas Frank, this is for you, I believe, Nick. My man is talking a big game. Has he ever spent time in prison, or is he a role playing that thuggin' life? I'm not sure if he's talking to you or if he's talking about ASAP Rocky, so we're going to put a pin in that.
Oh, I was ready to answer.
Yeah, no. We're going to leave it there. Okay. And Lucas Frank also said in regards to Tyla, repeatedly asking the same question is clearly no longer about simply asking a question. It was not a standard question about character, and she didn't treat it like that. She's just being harassed. And we're not talking about white media harassing her. This is black people. But I don't think it's a white person would not necessarily ask her about her ethnicity, you know? Maybe not. They would just kind of circle around it because it's a hot zone. We, especially as we have moved forward where biracial or mixed race is considered another category for some, are very into trying to, as we see with our last election, distinguish what is and isn't black by your makeup. So there are things like that because some people, the next conversation will be, oh, is she a culture vulture or things like that. We have complicated conversations within the black community, as we are all aware of, surrounding race. And they seem to have gotten even more complicated as we have moved on, especially when it comes to entertainment and what people feel we are allowed to support or endorse. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll get into this Godfrey story. So, there are certain things that quietly rumble around Hollywood for a long time. People will respectfully or disrespectfully avoid or get into the topic. And so James Avery, who played Uncle Phil on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he passed away. It's been
2018.
Yeah, it's been. So what is that? 7 years?
7 years.
7 years now. And Godfrey, in a recent interview, I'm not sure why the topic came up. We're going to let you listen to it. He revealed what some would say is sensitive information about James Avery. It is not information, to my knowledge, that James readily shared publicly. And so we have talked about, when we talked about Patti LaBelle and Luther Vandross, I think with this, it is a question of intent for me. But we will let you be the judge, and then we'll get into it.
You know who else was gay? James Avery from The Fresh Prince.
Wow.
Uncle Phil, gay as hell. Yeah.
Wow.
He was gay. Because you know how I know? I had to do audience coordinating for the Gospel Awards when I first started comedy in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And behind the scenes, I was there. James was there. Avery was there. It was Mike Tyson, Farrakhan. Everybody was there. And backstage, all those gospel groups?
Yeah.
They were all getting very, very gay. And I saw him. He was flamboyant. I was like this. Uncle Phil? Aunt Phil. It's Aunt Phil. Because he was like this. He was like this. He was like, girl, shoot. I was like, whoa. And he's like, see, he was a big man. I was like, yo, he's mad feminine. I was surprised because I'm sitting there like, that's Uncle Phil, is Aunt Phil.
Playing games over here.
But he knew how to act and play you know, but he was gay too. But he was such a great actor too. Carl Winslow was dead. Yeah, from Family Matters.
Wow.
Yeah, he's gay.
Wow. I didn't know that
gay.
one.
Yeah, but these guys were like old school gays. They were very like, they weren't like, all over. They were just, you know, they just came, it was old school. You're talking about 1950s, 60s gays, you know. They were different.
So my thing with Godfrey is just why? Just why? Why?
I mean, I said the same thing in a post I put up, and I was like, what was the purpose? First of all, it's so disrespectful to the late James Avery's family, because what if his family didn't want that out there? Or what if the family didn't know if that is true? We don't even know if that's true. That's alleged, right? And this man, first of all, we remember James Avery from, like you said, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, remember the voice of Shredder. That was him, too. If you watched him in any other, you know, like Sparks and Sparks, it was a show on UPN.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard and Miguel Nunez. Yeah. You know, you remember the greatness of James Avery. You remember that scene in Fresh Prince when he hugged Will when Will's father didn't want him. And those are the memories that you have of James Avery, not what he did on his personal time, if that is indeed true. And who cares?
I 100% agree. But in this culture where we have blogs, where we have 24/7 news coverage, and people are constantly revealing things from people, where do you draw the line? I feel it's in poor taste, but there are so many things that are revealed, health statuses, different things, financial issues, you know. Where do we draw the line? When we come forward, we're going to get more into that and more trending topics and headlines. I'm here with Nick Hamilton of NiteCast Media. Make sure that you are ready to dive more into these trending topics and more. On the other side, we have news, traffic, and sports coming up next.
For people's costume national, yeah, and the mule meester. See this them be the sneaker. Lump on a ball, man. Goya by the trunk. Isabel Marant. I love you, Linda Farrow. I adore you, Dior. You dummy, yeah, dome. I'm beating carrot from the store. I crash down with that top down. Boy, see how I ride round. Mommy in that time Ford. Poppy in that time Brown. Rick Owens, rap.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Tyreek Wynn with 4 things you should know with BIN News. Officials say 2 people remain hospitalized after Monday's plane crash in Toronto, Canada. 21 people were injured in the incident at Toronto Pearson Airport. The Education Department is telling universities it will cut funding if they continue with diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The Trump administration has cracked down on DEI and says it considers these programs illegal. A historic black church has announced plans to cancel its Christmas program at the Kennedy Center. The Alfred Street Baptist Church in Alexandria, Virginia has posted a notice to its website saying the decision to cancel the annual performance came after prayerful consideration. Golden State Warriors superstar Stephen Curry, who is black, is the world's largest paid athlete. A new ranking from Sportico found that 36-year-old Curry earned nearly $154 million in 2024. I'm Tyreek Wynn on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
East LA, the 5 northbound delays leaving the 60. You're on the brakes and stretches all the way to the 14. And if you're making that connection into Santa Clarita on the 14 northbound, delays leaving the 5. And you're on the brakes and stretches towards Soledad Canyon Road. It's also pretty crowded right now on the 91 freeway eastbound out of Carson from Avalon. And you remain on the brakes all the way to Green River in Corona. It's tough in Corona, 15 southbound from the 91 freeway towards Temescal Canyon Road.
If you or someone you know is affected by the Los Angeles wildfires, you are not alone. No matter how sad, scared, or heartbroken you feel, Cal Hope is here for you and all those affected by the devastating wildfires. Find free, safe, and confidential mental health support at calhope.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A quick check of NBA stats at the halfway point of the season led to an interesting revelation. LeBron is the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Clippers guard James Harden is 13th on the all-time scoring list. What may surprise some folks is that LeBron and Harden rank among the top 5 in the NBA in assists. LeBron is 4th with 9 per game. Harden is 5th, averaging 8.6. The ability to put the ball in the basket is a major reason LeBron and Harden will be Hall of Famers, but both have shown a willingness to give the ball up to open teammates. The Lakers and and Clippers made significant roster moves in the past 2 weeks to prepare for a playoff push in the second half of the season. The Lakers traded for Luka Doncic. The Clippers picked up 6'8" playmaker Ben Simmons. We'll see if these moves have an impact on LeBron and Harden's assist numbers. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I have a dream today.
They said it couldn't be done. They said we wouldn't make it. But history had other plans. This February, KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates the dreamers, the doers, and the breakthrough makers of Black History Month. Your station, your stories. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Things just ain't the same for gangsters. Times is changing. Young is aging. Becoming OGs in the game and changing. To make way for these new names and faces. But the strangest things can happen from rapping when get wrapped up in image and acting. Get capped up and wrapped in plastic. Zipped up in bags when it happens, that's it. I've seen them come, I've watched them go. Watched them rise, witnessed it and watched them blow. Watch them all blossom and watch them grow. Watch the lawsuits when they lost their dough. Best friends and money, I lost them both. Went and visited in the hospital. It's all the same all across the globe. I just sit back and watch the show.
Everywhere that I go ain't the same as before.
February 18, 1965, the Doctor was born. Happy birthday to Dr. Dre, 60 years old. Yo, I go back with Dr. Dre, not literally, yo. Go back with Dr. Dre to world-class Wrecking Crew. Turn off the lights, surgery when he was mix master on this very frequency on Saturday nights. Shout out to Dr. Dre, happy birthday.
Hey, from Ruthless to Death Row to Aftermath, the Sonic Genius, happy birthday, Dr. Dre, the great icon, Dr. Dre.
So I got a question for y'all. You know what I'm going to ask, right? Have you bumped anything from Missionary lately?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, Andy's looking at me laughing. Listen.
Absolutely. I bumped the Sting record.
Okay.
That Sting record is big. That's a massive record. That's a stadium record.
Andy?
What's your point in asking that question? I mean, I know, but I just want to hear your reasoning behind.
That people don't revisit, they complain, and then they forget. They don't take a second listen. They're instant reviews.
You know, I'll say this. Shout out to GNX, because that's been probably the last album in years that I could think of that I've actually replayed over and over. Back. So, you know, no disrespect to Snoop and Missionary or whatnot, but, you know, Kendrick came through with some fire, and, you know, that's kind of been the album that's been in rotation for me.
All right. Well, let's get to these comments in the YouTube chat, because they have a lot to say. A lot to say. Let's see. Pretty Brown Mimi says, so disrespectful. Godfrey is out here outing people. Who cares if true? That was his personal business. That was disrespectful. Fahima says, this is one more reason why I detest Godfrey, besides his calling black women bees on the regular. I really appreciated his comedy before he started showing his true character. Deep J Black 909 says, one question, Godfrey, what is the purpose of saying this now? That man is no longer among us. Shaking my head. Bernadette says, I wouldn't call intentionally demagoguing, gaslighting, or trolling complex conversation. That's like right-wingers claiming being anti-vax. It's just asking questions.
What?
Fair enough. She's talking about the Tyla conversation and the repeated questions. That is what she is referencing. Okay. And Lucas Frank says, all of a sudden, Dr. Dre is the G thing, but on his own album covers, he was a she thing. You know what? We didn't have to bring out the Eazy-E diss, but
the same,
you did.
But Luke is the same dude that bumps Dr. Dre. Knock it off, dude. Go sit in the corner somewhere.
I never met an OG.
I mean, listen. I listened. I bumped World Class Wrecking
Useless
Crew.
Records.
But at the time, dance music, 160 beats a minute. Yeah. That was the thing in LA. That was how our rap was set up. That was how the music was. It was like electronic type stuff.
All I know, Dre Day.
And everybody's celebrating.
Sign your life. I mean your name on the contract.
Oh, gosh. I have a friend that was in that video. Andy?
I stand to be corrected. At least nobody was getting sued.
Oh, yeah. Eazy-E didn't sue Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre didn't sue Eazy.
You know, beef.
Not over lyrics. They were suing over business, but not over lyrics.
Right.
There's a difference.
All right. So, did you have any final thoughts on the Godfrey story?
I just think Godfrey was an idiot. I think that he crossed the line. He disrespected, like I said, James Avery's family. And I'm like, why are you outing all these people? Are you trying to hide something? Because
there was no purpose to the conversation.
It was no purpose. And we always try to destroy our legends. Like, why are we the main ones trying to destroy our legends?
I won't accept that. I will not accept that.
Why?
Because there are so
I'm saying
many.
In this case, he is trying to go out of his way to destroy our legends.
When you say that we,
I'm saying him in the sense of because when I'm saying we,
you're saying black people.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not saying everybody, but obviously I'm not saying everybody.
Come on. No, and that wasn't my point. That you are saying everybody. What I am saying is I am not accepting that it is being stated as if white people or others don't have the same type of tea and gossip and spillage and all of those things to their people as well. So
no, I'm not saying that, but I
won't ascribe.
But
that
we're talking
just
about.
to us.
But we're talking. I'm not saying that either. Let's come on, Jill.
I know.
Stay with me now. Come on.
I am staying with you.
Okay.
I want to put it on record.
But we know who we talking about, and the thing about it is
there are haters in every race.
I'm not saying they're not, but we're talking about a specific situation where this dude has disrespected one of our legends in James Avery and a few others like Sherman Hemsley and people like that. And the thing about it is this: there's no point of doing this to gain what exactly? Are you getting a check out of this? Were you promised something? Like, what is the purpose of this? And it's so frustrating when you hear this kind of stuff because it's like, dude, it was so unnecessary. Let that man rest in peace. Let his family be at peace, and let him. Hey, if you got your own, viewpoints about that man, cool. It's okay to keep them to yourself. It's okay.
Indeed. And speaking of people throwing people in conversations unnecessarily, Cameron is weighing in on Dame Dash's financial drama. And he says that he knows why Dame Dash went broke. This all came about because there was an interview taking place where Dame was talking about how the people that he made, and I put that in quotes, have not, helped him out. Included in this list, like the interviewer named certain people, and Dame threw Cameron's name in this list, were, of course, Jay-Z, everybody affiliated with The Rock. There was somebody random that he threw on there that was on a Jay album. I can't remember, but Cameron said, listen, this is the real scoop about this. He said that Dame Dash got complacent, and that's the reason for his financial woes. He said that Dame would do stuff like, after you get the opportunity, you have to keep hustling. He said, I would love to do all the things that Dame has done. Fly private for 5 years straight, buy 2 mansions in London. You got a mansion in London just for your boys. And then a personal mansion in London for something else, renting them or whatever. You got mansions in London. We're not even from London. You just going to London to hang out. He said he went into his house and he was like, yeah, these walls, be careful. They're museum walls. And he said that if you have that type of ambition, if you have that type of taste, you can't stop. You got to keep hustling to keep yourself in that. And the expectation that, and Cam and Dame still mess with each other, but Cam is going to keep it a buck. He said that the simple math is that Dame overshot his shot and got lazy. Really quick, we got about 30 seconds before we go to break. What are your thoughts on that, Nick Hamilton?
I think Cam was being nice because Dame was financially irresponsible. He was an arrogant anal cavity, and it caught up with him. He was doing stupid stuff with his money and wasn't investing it wisely, and this is why he's broke now. Mr. I keep it in the streets. But what streets are you keeping it in when you ain't got nothing to put in the streets?
Do you think that Jay or any of the people that he claims, Kevin Hart was someone else that he mentioned, and Cam even said, let's be real. Who knows Kevin Hart from Paper Soldiers? The hood does, but Kevin kept grinding to take that opportunity and advance it to the next one and advance it to the next one. How long or what is a sufficient payback? Is thank you if we made money together and now we're no longer together? Is that enough? Do you think any of these individuals owe it to Dame? It would be nice if they did, but do you think they owe it to Dame to help him out in this current time?
No. Nobody owes you anything. And if you were a jerk to them in that process, they're not going to forget that.
Cam said that as well. Cam said that Dame doesn't know how to talk to people. He said he's known him a long time and he understands him, but that you can't treat people in that manner and then wonder what the end result is. Seems like common sense adult lessons, yeah?
For adults, yes. Not grown children that happen to be 40-something or 50-something years old.
I think Dame is 50, A
50-year-old fool.
He said that Dame had a mansion in New Jersey, 2 lofts in Tribeca, and much, much more. He's like, bro, if you live like that, you got to keep hustling. You can't buy all the stuff that you bought. I'm being nice. I'm not even naming half of it. You can't buy all that stuff, spend all that money, and then be like, I shouldn't have to work anymore. He said, I didn't have half the stuff you just named. I didn't have lofts in Soho, mansions in London. I didn't fly private. I didn't have a urinal in my house. He said that Dame was the only person he's ever seen in his life with a urinal in his house. He said, I kept going, and now he has set himself up into another level. And you know that Edwina Brooks is an entrepreneur and author and is preparing to seize Dame's assets after winning a $78,000 judgment against him. She accused him of unlawfully marketing and distributing her book series, Maffietta, without permission. So,
And no dental plan.
When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Life blooms in beautiful ways. The Afia Center invites you to celebrate At the End with Red Gala, honoring the strength and resilience of Black women living with HIV. Join us for an evening of empowerment as we launch the Barbara Cambridge Scholarship and kick off Her Story Month with our theme, Life in Full Bloom. Your support helps create vital HIV programming and builds a future where every voice is heard and every story matters. The End with Red Gala, because every flower deserves to bloom. To learn more and to donate, visit theafiacenter.org.
Every school day was a vaping day for me. It wasn't a social thing anymore. Suddenly it became something I was doing independently every day. Recently, I was sitting next to somebody on the freeway, and I saw them vaping. I was like, wow, is that what I look like? And that didn't sit too well with me. That image has been a big motivation to quit.
No quit story is the same. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
Attention Los Angeles County renters and landlords. Starting January 1st, 2025, there are new rules limiting rent increases for rent-stabilized units in unincorporated LA County. Most rent-stabilized units will have rent increases capped at 2.565% from January through June 2025, with exceptions for qualified small property landlords and luxury units. To learn more about the new changes, visit rent.lacounty.gov. This message is brought to you by Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Affairs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in to KBLA Talk 1580 and your entertainment news update with me, Jill Munroe, and I'm joined, of course, by Nick Hamilton of NiteCast Media. So, this topic is always fun. Your guy Tyrese, he is asking the court to reduce his child support payments after his income has allegedly dropped by 85%. So, according to legal documents that were obtained by In Touch, Tyrese wants his monthly support reduced to $10,000 a month. And this is for his 5-year-old daughter, Soraya. Tyrese claims that since the court's initial ruling, his earnings have taken a hit. And he said that the income of Tyrese has drastically reduced since 2022. Because his income has decreased by more than 85%, he is no longer under the high income under the law, and he wants them to be adjusted. Now, if you recall, Tyrese and his ex-wife, Samantha Gibson, went back and forth, a lot of it on social media, for quite some times. And in 2022, a judge estimated that Tyrese was bringing in almost $300,000 per month, while his ex-wife was reportedly earning around $8,000 a month. Tyrese says that now he's bringing in about $40,000 a month, and he is saying that Samantha's income has likely increased, and he would like it adjusted. Last year, Tyrese was briefly jailed over his unpaid child support, and let's hope this time he does not bring it to social media, and, you know, we get it all together and flowing.
Well, he better do another Fast and Furious and Transformers movie, get that weight up.
Well, didn't they just have one that came out not too long ago?
He better star in the next one. He better be writing the next one. Get your weight up, buddy.
I don't know about that. Listen, it's only right, though, since we have you in the building, right? And NBA All-Star took place over the weekend. Okay,
every
so
time
you
mention All-Star, I start yawning. Sorry.
So there
You were
was
saying, madam?
nothing. There was nothing that you appreciated about the weekend. Not Too Short. Not E40. Not Sweetie. Not any of it. Not the $100,000. Not the 3-point shootout. Nothing.
Here's what I appreciate about it. I appreciate that it's no longer amongst us. I also appreciate that weekend has passed, meaning it's no longer amongst us. The weekend has passed.
But
I do appreciate the fact that I love seeing E40.
But you know where it's going to be next year.
Oh, I'm going to love that. It's going to be lit. But what I'm saying
right
is...
here in L.A.
Into a dome. I appreciate E40, Too Short, Sweetie, LaRussell, and I do appreciate the 3-point shooter. I do love watching the 3-point shooter. Tyler Hero, I love watching him and Dame Dollar go at it, you know.
Did you like the format change?
No, it sucked.
So here's the thing, because we've been complaining about All-Star, I feel, for the past 20 plus years, right? Kevin Durant pointed that out. Outside of, I've been advocating for a long time that there should be a one-on-one contest or one-on-one contest all dunks. I don't think some egos would allow that to take place.
Who came up with the one-on-one idea?
I don't know. I've been talking about that for years.
Was that Unrivaled that just recently did that?
Oh, they did do that, but I mean, I've been.
I know you
personally.
have. I know you have, but I'm saying on a public scale.
Do you think that is the NBA's looking at that? Because here's the thing: we see what they did with the in-season tournament that they borrowed from other places, right? Mm-hmm. So, what can be done to make the All-Star game the attraction that it once was?
Well, I think because these guys make so much money, there's no pride in it anymore. When we would watch in the All-Star game, even up until Kobe's last All-Star game, guys played with pride. Yeah, it was loose the first half because everybody was having fun, and Craig Sager, God rest his soul, was wearing these weird outfits that the players were clowning him about. But it was fun. It was entertaining. The fourth quarter, it was when guys buckled down, was like, all right, we got to win this. This is for the East or this is for the West. We got to win this. And you had guys that had pride in the game.
I don't
think a lot of them have pride in the game anymore.
I think they should go back to the picking teams. I know that was controversial, but at least with that, there was some sense of something.
I think just
dramatic.
People don't care. Nobody cares anymore. Like the only All-Star game that most people will tune into from a league standpoint is the MLB All-Star game. That's the only thing. People still watch the home run derby because you want to see guys hit home runs. How many home runs can you hit? All that kind of stuff. People still watch that. I mean, maybe if the NBA said whoever wins out of the East and the West, they get home court, in the finals no matter what, maybe that may be an incentive. I don't know what baseball did many years ago about saying, hey, the American League or the National League, whoever wins gets home field. Maybe they have to do that. Maybe they have to start doing the 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 type of things and make it a one-day affair instead of a weekend affair and then the celebrity game is trash because half of them are influencers that people don't even know about.
They're trying to reach the online community. I mean, it's like you have to tap into the future and still balance with the past. No, you definitely have to mix, and I think they do. There are certain celebrities that they use all the time. Andy?
Scrap it.
I mean, they're not going to do that. It's a money-making venture.
I understand it, but quite frankly, it seems every year, no matter what they try to do, it's not going to work, especially with all the pauses in between the games and Kevin Hart doing all the comedy. You took it away. And then I hate to say it, take the NIL away.
Oh,
take the money away from the collegiate athletes because they got their brands popping and they care so much about their brand. They don't want to lose in a dunk contest because that's going to mess up their brand. I'm sorry, the 3-point shootout sucked too. And I thought that was going to be, like better than the dunk contest.
But it wasn't as bad as the rest, though. I will say.
I'm with you, but just scrap it all because then you got Anthony Edwards talking about he doesn't want to be the face of the league.
I mean, I got into why I believe Anthony Edwards doesn't want to be the face of the league.
The mentality is just not there.
Yeah. Honestly, no. I mean, no, seriously. I think because it is a lot of burden, he's in the mix with some stuff right now, and there's a responsibility as far as image and those type of things that comes along with that he may not want to deal with, and he might like being wild and loose right now.
So you'll be sitting next to Tyrese in court? that what you're trying to say?
Sitting next to who?
Tyrese and Courtney.
I mean, yeah, he's already got, like, he has a baby with Chief Keef's baby mama. He's a baby with Lil Baby's other baby's mama. And, you know.
Is there not enough women in the world that you have to borrow?
They love a referral. I will not be further explaining on this. Listen, thank you guys for tapping in. Nick Hamilton, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere household items are sold. No, you can find me on Instagram at Nick Hamilton LA, on X at Nick Hamilton 213, and on TikTok at NiteCast Media, all social media platforms.
Check out Nick's socials. He has some $1 million hitters on there. Not $1 million, million views hitters on his thing. Lots of interesting content. Thank you guys for locking in. Now, tomorrow, Jill Munroe will not be here, but Keith Underwood will. Make sure you tap in with him and hear all the great topics that he's going to get into. And I'll be back Thursday to get all up in the business with Damon Haley for that segment. And, you know, as always, make sure that you are being good, being kind. I want to start... Be kind. I think we are missing that in a lot of things. And I know that's not going to help with some, but it will help with a lot. So be kind. Enjoy your evening. And, you know, hit me up and let me know what you think. Let us know in the comments if you have thoughts. And, of course, always hit us on social media. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you guys. Have an amazing night.
Yeah, LA rule the world. Y'all gotta recognize, you know what I'm saying? Don't wanna peep game, you know what I'm saying? But this come all the way back around here. My Dre dropping heat rocks on y'all. You know what I'm saying? You gotta recognize LA connected all over the world. Recognize this, keep that.
Now in my younger days I used to sport a rag, backpack full of cans plus a G'd up from the feet up from the sewer, I grew up. Till we threw up at Leimert Park, tagging hitting fools up. Ditching my class just